Hey everybody, it's Dean. Welcome to Bring Back Rock. Today we're talking about a band out of New York City called Sweet Pain. Now, I just want to say this. I'm going to be talking just a little bit more at the front here. I need to thank Dave Tedder because he set up an interview with me and Corky Gunn, the singer from this band. I'm posting that video on the same day I'm posting this one, and I really suggest you go check it out because he was entertaining, fun to talk to, good stories. He kind of had coming of age years with some of the guys in Danger, partied with Ratt and Motley Crue and LA Guns, and had some great stories. And after the interview, if you're like me, you're going to want to get his book, which is called Tales from the Gutter and Other Rock and Roll Shenanigans. It's under his real name, Mike Corcione. So you're going to want to check that out. I think it's a pretty good interview. All right, let's talk about this band from New York City. They came out pretty early. Their album, they're a glam band. They looked glam. And this is all when glam was completely over New York. Twisted Sister was already on the world stage. New York Dolls were long over and hadn't become cool again. Really the only glam bands, some of the bands from LA were starting to go that way, but this was before Theater of Pain came out, so it wasn't really in the mainstream quite yet, except for maybe with Ratt and Hanoi Rocks over in Europe. So they were fans of Hanoi Rocks and Ratt and Motley Crue, but also Aerosmith, being from New York, the New York Dolls and Twisted Sister, of course, Starz, Cheap Trick, Kiss, but they're also a fan of the Ramones and the punk scene in England, like the Clash and especially the Sex Pistols. So they kind of had these two things kind of coming together. If you're looking for an album with great production, you're not getting Hysteria 2.0 on this. This was recorded in 2 days, fueled by cocaine and alcohol, and it's dripping with attitude. Lots of attitude. If you like raw rock and roll, this might be an album you like. They were good enough and popular enough to gain a couple fans that were big on the scene back in the day, one being Tammy Down from Faster Pussycat, the other being a band that was one of the biggest, some would argue the biggest in the world at the time. I'd definitely put them top 3 probably. I'm not going to tell you who that is. That's what we call a tease. So watch the video and find out who that was and hear about that story. So let's get right into it. Like I said, check out that video. Thanks to Dave Tedder for helping me set up the interview. And this is Sweet Pain. Sweet Pain was formed in New York in 1984 by Mike Corcione, stage name Corky Gunn. Now, Corky was working at Combat Records, which was really a heavy metal label and more specifically a thrash metal label with bands like Megadeth and Exodus. But they saw what was happening in LA and wanted to expand their sales base. So they suggested Mike, Corky, form a band. First person he went to, he was really plugged into the scene, was his friend Kelly Blade Nichols, who was running lights for local cover band Hot Shot. Hot Shot featured Steve West and Bruno Ravel, who later played together in Danger. And Bruno later formed the band The Defiance with Paul Lane. Kelly and Corky found the rest of the band and started putting songs together, hitting the studio before ever playing a gig. Influenced by 70s bands like Aerosmith, Starz, Kiss, Cheap Trick, and being from New York, the New York Dolls and Twisted Sister. But they also loved bands like the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, and the Clash. And of course, the great Hanoi Rocks. The debut included a Starz cover, Subway Terror, which was produced by Richie Rano of Starz. After Corky ran into him in a record store, they started conversing, and Richie agreed to help the band with the cover. He produced and played on it. It also contains a song written by Kelly Nichols called Shoot for Thrills, which was re-recorded by LA Guns on their debut. The album came out in 1985 on Combat Records. Now, each song here is just dripping with attitude. It was recorded in just 2 days, fueled by drugs and alcohol. They look like Hanoi Rocks, but had just as much in common with the Sex Pistols. The album's just dripping with New York attitude. They played their second gig, opening for the great Ace Frehley, to an angry crowd there to see Ace and left waiting outside as the gig started very late. They hit the stage and got pelted with anything the crowd could get their hands on to throw at them. Corky Gunn never saw the bottle that hit him in the head and cut him open coming. Pissed off, he started antagonizing the crowd, grabbed a beer can, started smashing it into his head, the cut in his head, yelling, "Is that all you got?" He was mixing it up with the crowd, and even though everybody was there to see Ace, he says every eye was on that stage while they were up there. It's a gig that the band calls The War. The band continued to gig and tour supporting the album, but they started losing members. The first member as early as that second gig, opening for Ace Frehley. The second person to leave was drummer Ronnie Taz. He left. He ended up joining the Throbs, who ended up getting signed to Geffen Records and releasing one album, The Language of Thieves and Vagabonds. Kelly Nichols was the next to leave. He joined a band that went out to LA, where he soon joined Faster Pussycat. A motor accident and broken leg forced the Pussycats to make a change. I think I remember reading about this way back in the day, I'm just going by memory, that they were either about to showcase or about to record when Kelly had his accident and they had to make the change. They couldn't wait for him to heal up. So he went back to New York thinking he missed his shot. But very soon after getting back there, he got a call from Tracy Guns asking him to join LA Guns. He did his first show with them while still on crutches. The rock and roll lifestyle, sex, drugs, rock and roll partying was taking its toll. Corky says he wasn't just burning the candle at both ends, he was melting the candle with a blowtorch. They were on tour, and in Cleveland, they almost started a riot with their show. They continued to tour, but like I said, the rock and roll lifestyle was really taking its toll. They had a homecoming gig booked at Lemoore in New York. The band was losing steam. They were about to lose another member. The partying was taking its toll. So after that homecoming Lemoore gig, Corky just put the band to rest just 2 years after forming. Corky went back to working in the music business, but soon LA Guns was set to go on tour and they tapped Corky to be their tour manager. He also had an offer to head up the metal division at Atlantic Records, but he chose his friend Kelly's offer and went on the road with LA Guns, where there was more debauchery on a larger scale, better drugs, hotter women, and more famous friends to party with, the likes of Ratt and Motley Crue. Mike also found out Sweet Pain had a famous fan, or a band that were all fans. One night on the tour bus with LA Guns, they were hanging out with Phil Collen of Def Leppard. Remember, he was in a band called Girl with LA Guns vocalist Phil Lewis? Well, the conversation turned to Joe Elliott. He used to play the song I Get My Kicks, as Phil said, by this crazy New York glam band to fire the band up before they hit the stage. Kelly said, well, there's a singer from that band, our tour manager. And of course, they partied on that tour bus all night long. You can read all about the craziness in Corky's book, Tales from the Gutter and Other Rock and Roll Shenanigans, under his real name, Mike Corcione, which you can find on Amazon. So just go to Amazon and look Tales from the Gutter. And also make sure you go ahead and check out that interview I posted with them, Corky Gunn. Think you'll really find it entertaining. All right, now we're going to play just a few samples of that raw rock and roll that I was talking about, and I will catch up with you at the end of the video.
Same stuff, man. Weekend rolls around, you got about $1.35. You get yourself a couple beers. Maybe you get a joint from your friend. You hop in his Camaro. You head out on the boulevard. You find some chicks. Maybe you'll get laid if you're lucky, baby. Well, fuck that shit. I get my cake. Hey! On a Saturday night. I get my cake. I gotta show 'em what's the meaning of life. I get my cake. I gotta show 'em not to waste in their mind. I get my cake. The weekend is here. The weekend is mine. I get my cake. I get my cake. I get my kicks. I get my kicks. Attack. Cop chasing the moonlight. Church starts to shine. Cold blood is running. It happens all the time. Born to run, run. Born to fight. Shoot for thrills, in the
right, so that was a little bit on Sweet Pain. Where can you find them? Well, if you're looking for the original vinyl, you're going to pay between $50 and $100 used. They're not on the streaming services. The album was never released on CD until just recently. Go to vanitymusicgroup.com and you can find the CD there. They're also working on a vinyl release, so that should be coming soon. But right now, it's just the CD at vanitymusicgroup.com. I just want to thank everybody for watching this, and I'll go check out the interview with Corky Gunn, which is, like I said, posting on the same day this one drops, so it should be out there. And thank you very much for listening. Catch you on the next episode.